before I get into my keynote and my presentation with some ideas about creativity, first of all, I want to thank actually Microsoft for hosting us in the Digital Garage. You guys rock. And not only is Microsoft hosting us, they did almost all of the work. And you know, I've said many times that free is my favorite flavor of ice cream, but it's a great flavor. But it really makes a difference when partners and stakeholders step up and do the work of making things happen. And Microsoft have just been stellar at making this possible. I also want to thank the Creativity Conference team. We've got several members of our team here. Aidan over here, Aidan Road, is our, I guess we would say, conference manager. Come Man Friday, come make everything work. We have Paige here, and we've got Lauren, who's helping out as well. And hopefully we'll have this year's Meredith and oh, there you are! Meredith made it. Let's we have Meredith, and I missed one. Who did I miss, Aidan? Meredith, Paige, no, we said that. Anyway, they're all here. So
Not Aidan.
No, not Aidan. No, he automatically gets the gratitude. So the conference, the event that we're hosting today is a kind of a sister event. It's a partner event for our major conference that we're hosting in August. In August, we will be hosting from the 3rd to the 5th of August this year, online, completely for free. We're expecting up to 100 speakers to be contributing. And the event is really quick and easy to sign up to. If you go to creativityconference.is, you'll find the form right on the homepage. Just went live last night, or yesterday. And what we do at the Creativity Conference that's a little bit different to other conferences is that we specifically don't invite our speakers to speak about anything that you could put on a numbered list. So I've been a keynote for about 20 years, and there's always some kind of agenda, there's always something that you're supposed to speak about. But at the Creativity Conference, we do not invite our speakers to speak about workflows, technology, techniques, business skills, branding skills, marketing, anything legal, anything like social issues. All of these things are super important, and all of these things should be discussed, and all of these things are helpful to explore, but not every single time. So one of the things that sets the Creativity Conference apart, in my view, is that we actually don't talk about the how very much. Instead, we talk about the why. And so we invite our speakers to speak about their joy. We invite them to speak about whatever it is that inspires them so profoundly that they feel they have no choice but to create something that simply never existed before. And then we ask them to share practical, actionable, specific advice about how they do that. And I often describe the conference as sitting around a campfire, and you're sitting with a friend who's a super specialist in something. And you say to your friend, hey, you do that amazing thing, right? Like, that's really amazing. You're a world-class specialist in this thing. Tell me about that thing. And your friend says, let me tell you the real inside truth about the thing that I do. But just give me a second. And they get a stick and a marshmallow, and they put the marshmallow on the fire, and they give you the real inner insight into what they've set out to do as a creative. And so on that note, I want to share with you for just a few moments. After me, you've got the much more impressive Mara McCann is going to be giving a talk, which is going to be wonderful. But I want to share with you a couple of ideas about what I think creativity is and why I think it's important. So, and I usually have my notes on a little tiny slip of paper, and I sometimes mix it up with a shopping list, but I have it here now. So I mentioned earlier that at the Creativity Conference, we speak less about the how and more about the why. And when I was a child, the word why was banned in our house for approximately a month because I just asked it too much. And the word why is really interesting because the answer to this question, why, that answer ultimately is at the root of not just all of our actions, but also our identity. Because if you ask why enough, So we were having a conversation just now about, shall I wear this jacket or not? You know, I want to look like a grown-up, but, you know, is it important, this creative event? I don't know. But if you ask somebody, why did you choose to wear that jacket? And they say, well, I wanted to have this effect. Well, why did you want to have that effect? Well, because I think it's important for these reasons. Well, why do those reasons seem important to you? And you go, why? Eventually, you will always arrive, at, because I feel it. You're always going to arrive at your feelings. It could be that if you ask why enough, you end up going back to some childhood memory, that there was some event where someone you thought was really cool. Like one of the reasons I became a filmmaker is because when I was a child, it's a tiny little contributory thing, but we were given a ride in this amazing car. And I was told that the person who owned the car was a filmmaker. They took an airplane engine and put it in a car. And I just thought that was the most amazing thing. And I thought, well, if that's the kind of thing that filmmakers do, I'm going to be a filmmaker. This is really cool. I knew nothing else about them whatsoever. But you always arrive at your feelings. And I think that there are ultimately really just two feelings that I'm getting a thumbs up at the back, and I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know is a great place to start. I think that ultimately, all of our feelings eventually reduce to love or fear. And the truth is, if you ask yourself in any given moment, what's motivating me right now? Am I protecting myself? Am I setting up boundaries because I need to be armored against what's happening? Am I being threatening? Am I being, am I being controlling? Am I being demanding? All of that's rooted in fear. Or if you ask yourself, am I being giving? Am I letting go? Am I being embracing? Am I being accepting? Am I permitting others to be whatever they are and appreciating? All of these things, am I allowing myself to create? That's all love. And it's actually not that complicated. It takes about 1 second to ask yourself, is this decision love or fear? Right? I think I just about have time. Yeah. So there's this beautiful shamanic tale that many of you're just going to nod and feel like, oh yeah, I know that tale. But it's really beautiful and illustrates the way we as beings approach the choices we make in our lives. And the tale is that there's this old shaman, he's talking to a little girl, he's telling her a story. And the story is that inside the head of every person, there are two wolves that are fighting, they're at war. And one of the wolves it's a black wolf and a white wolf. And one of the wolves is all about hate and anger and aggression and violence and conflict. And the other wolf is all about love and forgiveness and embracing and unity. And these two wolves have actually been fighting for eternity. They're in conflict. And the little girl says to the old shaman, which wolf wins? And the shaman says, whichever one you feed. An old psychologist friend of mine used to say, you are not what you think you are what you think. And if you've seen there's a lot of stuff on social media about personal development and achieving your goals and your outcomes, and essentially the rule is simple. Whatever you think about the most, you become. It could be that you think about violence in the world and how it's a problem. You probably start to incorporate violence into your psyche. It could be that you think about dance all the time, and it'll end up being that you move like a dancer every day, all day. Whatever you think about, you become. And as creatives, my working definition of creativity is any intentional decision. Because by making an intentional decision, you're participating in life. You're creating a future that could not have existed in the way that it does without you participating. Now, you might not get the outcome you expect, but you definitely get an outcome that's different because you engaged. And you have this opportunity to dive into life, not to escape from it, not to withdraw from it, not to resort to alcoholism or drugs or just hiding asleep all day, but to really engage in life by accepting that there are going to be outcomes. You're free to ignore them, but there's definitely going to be outcomes. It's going to happen. And to my mind, anybody who identifies as a creative, who chooses to live a creative life, these people are people who've made that choice to engage, to participate, and to share. But why? Right? Ultimately, as a creative, and it could be that you're a choreographer, it could be that you're running an office, it could be that you're raising children or designing buildings or writing poetry or whatever it is, every single thing that you create will be created in order that it is experienced, right? Unless you're writing something in a private diary that you'll later burn, even then, you're creating it to be experienced by your future self. So you're always creating in order that somebody is changed by the creation. And we were speaking last night about the difference between small a art and capital A art. This comes up when you're at college, when you're at university. What are those two types of art? What are they? And I would argue that small a art is the craft of the artist. That you know composition, you know the rules of the way light works and color, you know how to create. But capital A art changes the person who experiences it. You are not the person you were after you experience something that is what I would call truly art, capital A art. And so as a creative, how do you arrive at that type of work? How is it that you can take a photograph and the photograph, there's something about that composition where you do a double take and you realize that you feel differently about the world. I'm a fan of Luc Besson films, the director Luc Besson. And I have a theory that all of Luc Besson's films are about one shot. And if you can spot the one shot that the entire film is for, you realize the message of the entire film. Has anyone seen Angel A, Luc Besson film? It's beautiful. And you'll know, so please check out Angela by Luc Besson, and you will know the shot when you see it. So this question of why is really important, because ultimately, our whys define us. Everyone says, the secret of life is to find out what you love and to do that, right? That's the secret of life. But no one tells you how to find out what you love. And so we set up on this mission to learn through failure and to arrive at a sense of self and an activity, a purpose that matters to us. I think that one way that you can identify the activities, the occupations that are truly you, that are a manifestation of yourself in the world, you're realizing yourself in the world. One way to do that is if you're having an experience and it enlivens you, that's probably it. We use the word quick these days to mean fast. But actually, my understanding is that the word quick, to be quickened, originally meant to be enlivened, to be brought to life. If something was quick, it was alive. And that meant that it was moving itself. It was self-driving. So if you're quickened by an experience, I'm thinking of, what's that amazing 1980s film? What's it called? The immortal characters, and if you lose your head, you lose your life. Come on, someone help me out here. Highlander, right? Woohoo! Anyway, so if you have an experience that quickens you, that might be a sign, that might be an indication of who you are and what you are. And if you have an experience that leaves you dead inside, that you feel just is negating your life force, that might be an indication of what you're not. Ultimately, I think we all seek ways to be helpful. It's crucial for us that we find a way to contribute to the world. We all hope that when we die, if we don't become immortal somehow in our lifetimes, and the odds are against you doing that. Statistically, most people don't make it out of here alive.
Here?
Yes. Well, no. Here you're fine. Oh my goodness. There's always one. But statistically, there will probably come a day where you're not here anymore. You're not in the world anymore. And we all hope that people look at our lifetimes and feel glad that we were here. We all hope that the world is a better place because we were here. That our time on earth wasn't just selfish, it wasn't just looking out for having a good time, which may be philosophically a perfectly good thing to do, because you can be an inspiration for others. But we all hope that the world is not worse because we were here. And one way for us to achieve this goal of leaving the world better than it was when we found it so to speak, is to seek ways to be helpful. And in order to find out how you can be helpful, you need to find out what you are. As my old psychologist friend used to say, if you think you might be a clock, learn how to tell the time. So discover what it is that brings you to life and really get great at that. Everyone's heard the 99U thing, right? It's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. I have a friend that we spent 2 years arguing about whether ideas had any value whatsoever. And after 2 years, he conceded $1. I think it's, we're still debating it. So if you can take your inspiration and embrace being alive and find ways to realize yourself in the world that are helpful to others, in the service of others, that's probably it. That's probably what living is about. And I would salute anyone who identifies as a creative in any form. Because to my mind, those people who set out to be creatives are not only embracing being alive, they're embracing the existential uncertainty. They're embracing that by the way, nobody has a clue what they're doing. We're all winging it. But not only are they embracing that and being willing to take the scar tissue. The Buddha said if you have attachments, apparently the Buddha said if you have attachments, it leads to suffering. The Buddha never said don't have attachments, as far as I'm aware. You're willing to embrace the scar tissue and to have the failure and to fall down and stand up and fall down and stand up. And you're doing this in order that you can help others and change them and help them to be more than they were before you communicated with them via the medium of your creative work. And that medium could be song, it could be dance, it could be a painting, it could be poetry. That medium enables you to communicate. And there was a beautiful interview years ago with a famous dancer, I always forget her name, and then there was light. And
it's not like a hook or anything.
Yeah, no, I know.
Take your time, Max. It's your conference, so do it.
I would say I'll get my jacket, but I already have it. This dancer was asked, this is my last point, the dancer was asked, why did you become a dancer? And she said, if I could speak it, I wouldn't need to dance it. And on that note,
I just want you to stand over here for a minute.
Oh, hi.
Because
we have another microphone.
All the people who are remote, here, I'll take that from you, just for a moment. And then
hello.
The people who are away can see you.
For everybody at home, thank you for listening. I hope you're impressed by my fancy jacket. Yay. Applause for the jacket. So, no, it's a jacket. It doesn't have a nervous system, it won't know, unless you believe in anthropomorphism. So, my closing message is this. However you identify as a creative, whatever it is that you're doing to create, what you're doing is communicating. And ultimately, many aspects of our lives are defined by our relationships with others. If your creative work results in a thing, an object, a picture, a song, then it becomes a time telephone. You can communicate with the future via the medium of your creative work. And so I want to wind up and hand over to Mara by saying thank you to you, not only for putting the effort in to be creatives and to seek to make the world a better place as best you can, but also for turning up today and investing your time and attention and interest enough to be here in person and join us for this exploration of creativity. So thank you for being here. And with that, I will hand over to Mara. Thank you.